Welcome to the Joe Siegel Great Works Reading Series, and this is our production, quote unquote, of Antigone. So I guess you're all here to see Antigone, yes? Good. Are you, most of you in Great Works classes?
Yes.
Good. Has anybody here read the play yet?
Yes.
Okay, good. So a couple of you have. That's good to know. And the rest of you are virgins. That's important. So this is your maiden voyage into the world of Antigone. A couple of things that I want to bring you sort of into your way of thinking. So this play, written by Sophocles in about 444 BC, was part of a trilogy. It was a part of the Oedipus trilogy, which consisted of Oedipus Rex, Oedipus Colonis, and Antigone, which is the third play of the cycle, but the first play written. So it was written when he was a relatively younger playwright, and it has a lot of qualities of that, especially the idea of the individual against society, which is a very prevalent theme in this play. Things you need to know about the world. Okay, a couple of things. So just much like your DC universe and Harry Potter universe and Lord of the Rings universe, we all have rules, right? There's all rules, and Game of Thrones, we all know that crap, right? So here, you need to understand, in this society, there is belief in many gods, right? And the gods were fallible, and they were very human. And one thing that you must know is that if someone died, you had to bury them. It's an imperative, or their soul, their spirit would be forced to walk the earth. It would remain unsettled. You have to go through a whole ritual of burying, you pour libations, it's a whole thing, and that lets them rest. Now in this play, we have Antigone, who is daughter of come back to Thebes. We are in Thebes right now, and Thebes is not a great place. It's had a lot of problems. And at this point, there's just been a civil war between two brothers, Antigone and Ismene's older brothers, Polynices and Antigone. And Antigone has been king for a year. They're supposed to trade off being king 1 year, 1 on. 1 on, 1 off. Antigone says, I like it too much. I'm not going to give up the throne. So then Polynices is like, it's my turn. So he goes out and he gets 7 different tribes. There's actually a play about that called 7 Against Thebes, in order to take back the city. And so this is the end of the war. And it ended with the 2 brothers impaling themselves on their swords, so they die simultaneously. So they're dead at the end of that war. This is the moment, so this is a moment just after that's happened. And you'll learn that Creon has buried one, Tirieas, who's been king, with all, being a hero, being this, being that, all these great things, where Polynices, he says, he's gonna rot, he was a traitor. He does not deserve any sort of celebration. So that's where we are. So also, what you need to know is Antigone and Ismene walked for 10 years with their father, who was blind. When he found out what happened to him, he married his mother, killed his father. He blinded himself, and he went out and traveled from place to place to place until he dies in Columbus. It's a lot more information than you even need to know. I'm boring you. So anyway, unity of time, place, and action, right? Here we are, Thebes, outside the palace. The palace gates is what this is. I think it kind of looks like a palace a little bit, right? And it all takes place here, takes place in one day. And the action you will see is concentrated in one thing that carries us through the play. One thing you need to know that this is a staged reading. The actors will be getting up. They've had 3 days of rehearsal. We've done this. This is our 8th time, so thank you for being here for our last performance. They will be doing the play, but they will be carrying their scripts. Because normally we have a lot of time to rehearse. We have 3 rehearsals and 7 shows so far. So they are still exploring. So I guarantee you, those scripts will go away. These actors are so good. I love them. I thank you. I thank them, and I thank you for being here. And we'll have a brief talk back afterwards. Thank you for being here and giving up part of your day to be with us. I'll talk to you later.
Antigone, I have heard nothing. Not a word about our friends or family. Since that moment when we lost our 2 brothers. When our world died as they died. A double breath. A double death. The Argive army has left. I have no further news. There was neither good nor bad in the air.
That is why I have brought you from the house. What I have to say is for your ears alone.
Tell me all. I see that you are deeply troubled.
My trouble is indeed deep. Creon will honor one of our brothers in death, dishonor the other. Antigone he is buried, respecting all law, all custom, all sense of justice. Antigone now shares honor with the dead. But Polynices is a mere corpse in the sand, a sad, dead body that none can bury, none can mourn for. Bereft of tears, bereft of soothing earth, his body lies there to fill the jaws and hungry eyes of scavenging birds. No one shall touch him. Creon has made this law, and he, the great Creon comes here now to proclaim this law to you and to me, specifically to me, and to make its meaning clear to all those citizens who know nothing about it. But there is more. He will condemn to death anyone who attempts to bury Polynices, and the death will be by public stoning in the city. That is the truth. What will you do? Are you as noble as your blood? Or have you fallen low?
This is where matters now lie. What can I do? My poor sister. I could do nothing that will either help or harm.
Then will you join me in what I have to do?
What is it that you have to do? What risk will you take?
Will you join me and bury the body?
Polynices? But the law forbids.
He is our brother. Perhaps you wish he was not. I will never forsake him.
You are rash, my sister. Creon has passed an edict.
Creon cannot keep me from the one I love.
Alas, I love you, my sister. But remember how our father died. Not only unloved, but hated. He put out his own sad eyes when he knew the curse. And now we are alone. We too will die a painful death if we ignore the king, forget the law. Remember that we are women. Remember that the law belongs to men. This edict, cruel as it is, must be obeyed. I ask forgiveness. I ask forgiveness of the dead. I have no power.
I ask nothing of you. Nothing. Even if you chose to join me now, I would not permit it. It is too late. Be what you are. But I will bury Polynices. I will do what I must do, and I will die an honorable death. And as for you, dishonor what the gods have honored.
I will dishonor no one, but I cannot resist the rule of law. I cannot.
That easy phrase protects you. I will leave you now to bury my brother, whom I love.
Oh, my sister, I feel nothing but terror. I fear for you.
For me. Feel no fear for me. Put your own life in order.
Tell no one of what you are about to do. Keep silence, and I will do the same.
No! Scream it aloud! Denounce me! If you are silent, I will hate you even more. I want the world to know!
Your heart is burning, but what you have to do is cold as ice.
I know to whom my love must flow, and flow deep.
If only it could reach him. But your love is impossible.
When my strength dies, I will die.
But you are wrong from the start. To seek what cannot be done.
If that is what you believe, be but sure I will suffer nothing so shameful as a death without honor.
If that is what you believe, then go your way. But mindless is your journey. Oh, you are rightly loved by all your family.
O light of the sun, a most glorious light that ever shone upon Thebes of the seven gates. Polynices, running in unbridled fear, now in the harsh blaze of your dawn. Polynices, he had come in bitter quarrel with his brother. Polynices, he stood above our city's homes, hovered there, spears thirsty for blood, a black circle of death, and then he was turned back. The war god screamed at his back. Thebes rose like a dragon behind him. Zeus hates the boasts of a proud tongue. And seeing the enemy rolling on, he struck the man who rushed to our tower's height, struck him down with a bolt of fire. Before his mouth could scream the cry of victory. Polynices, traitor! To the echoing ground he fell, twisting hard, fire yet in his hand. All but those brothers in blood, two bred of one father, one mother. They alone hurled their spears and found a common share of death. Polynices, Eteocles. Now victory, whose name is fame, dances in the joy of Thebes, city of warriors. Now comes Creon, our new king, king of Thebes, appointed by this new twist of fate. What plan beats in his mind? Why has he called the council of elders? Why has he summoned us all?
Men of thieves. The gods with waves of wrath storm-tossed our ship of state. But now they have righted her once more. I've summoned you here from every quarter of the city because I know that I can trust you. Now it is I who hold the full power of the throne, for it descends to me after the double death on a single day of the brothers Antigone and Polynices. No king can expect complete loyalty from his subjects until he shows control over government and the law. You cannot know his mind, his soul. For I truly believe that the man who controls the state must have a supreme and moral vision for its future. I love my country. I love no human being more than my country. Zeus is my God. Zeus sees all. I swear that if I saw the state headed for disaster, I could not keep silent. Her safety is our only hope. That is why I issued the edict concerning the sons of Oedipus. Men of thieves, Tirieas, who died defending our city, brave spear in hand, is to be buried with all honors we bestow on fallen heroes. But his brother Polynices, who returned from exile to burn and pillage his own father's land, no one in this town may bury him, nor mourn for him. Unburied, his corpse will feed wild dogs and carrion birds. This is my command.
Creon, you have the right to pass this law. You have the power to rule over the living and the dead, the traitor and the patriot.
See to it that you enforce the law.
Well, we are old. Entrust this to the young.
That is not what I meant. Centuries watch the corpse.
Then what would you have us do?
Give no support to anyone who breaks the law.
I'm not a fool. I have no love of death.
And death is, the price is death. But there's many a man who has risked his future for money.
My lord! I'm not saying that I'm out of breath from running. No, I didn't exactly put my best foot forward. In fact, I stopped to think often enough and nearly went back to where I came from. I kept thinking, go there and you'll pay for it. Idiot! Get going, for if Creon finds out from someone else, it'll be even worse.
What has made you so uneasy?
Let me tell you first about myself. I didn't do it. I didn't see who did it. It's not fair if I get in trouble.
You know how to protect yourself. You built a clever defense. You have some bad news. Speak.
It's terrible! I don't know where to begin.
Out with it and then be off with you.
All right. The corpse. Well, someone's buried it and gone away. Dry dust sprinkled on the flesh and all the rituals complete.
Who dared do this? Who?
I don't know. The ground was hard and dry. There were no signs of digging, no wheel tracks in dust. Whoever did this left no trace. Nothing. The body was not there as it had been. I mean, not buried exactly, just a thin layer of dust, just enough to put his ghost at rest. No footprints of wild animals, no dog tracks, nothing. The body was intact. We began to fight. Finally, one man spoke up. It was clear you had to be told. We cast lots. I won. So I'm here. It's not that I want to be here, but I'm here. It's not what you want either. No one likes the bringer of bad news.
As I listened, I could only think that this was some god's doing.
Stop, you are fools. Old fools. Do not risk my anger, for it runs deep. Some god, intolerable. The gods care nothing for this corpse. No. No, from the beginning I knew that some men in this city loathed this edict, conspired against me. These are no subjects. These men are not loyal to me, no. These... Oh, I can see it. They bribed the guards to do this. Money. Nothing in this world corrupts so much as money. Now you, listen to me carefully. I speak to you under oath, for I swear before great Zeus, whom I revere, if you don't find the man who laid his hands upon this corpse and bring him right before my eyes, death will not be enough for you.
Can I something? Or should I just turn around and go?
When you open your mouth, you irritate me.
Where exactly? I mean, ears or heart?
Why do you anatomize my discomfort?
The man who did it hurts your heart. I hurt your ears.
Talk, talk, talk. That's all you were fit for.
Maybe, but I didn't do anything.
This from the man who sold his soul for money.
It's terrible when you make a guess, and that guess is simply not true.
You and your guesses. Clever talk again. Look, if you don't bring me the men who did this, you will be talking about the punishment that the money inflicted on you.
Well, I pray they catch that man. But whether they do or do not, that is in the hands of fate. You have seen the last of me. I didn't expect to get away. No, I didn't. But thanks to the gods, I'm safe.
What a remarkable piece of work is man. He knows the language of the tongue. He knows thought that has wings. He knows the passions that create cities. Oh, and he has found refuge from the arrows of rain and hail. He can do everything. And yet he can do nothing. Nothing in the face of the death that must come. He has cured disease, but he cannot cure death. His mind is rich in thought. His mind feeds on hope, but good comes and bad comes. Human laws are frail. Divine laws live in truth. Keep the laws of the gods, and cities stand high. Cities fall when arrogant excess keeps court. Never will a transgressor break bread at my table. My mind splits in pain. This is Antigone, anguished daughter of an anguished father. Oh God, what can this mean? It cannot be that you have broken the law. You are caught in shame. In shame.
This is the woman who did it. We caught her burying the body. Where's the king?
Here, he was watching.
Speak to me, your lord. What has happened?
One should never make a promise you can't keep. You change your mind, and you break your word. My lord, you threatened me, and I swore I wouldn't come back, but I'm back, and I brought the girl. We caught her burying the body. I bring you the news. Oh, now, my lord, take her. She is yours. Question her. Find out the truth. Me, I'm free. You can't bring anything against me.
Tell me exactly what happened.
She was burying him. That's it.
This is the truth. Do you understand the consequences?
I saw her burying the body. She was breaking the law. Enough?
Give me the details on how she was caught.
It was like this. When we got back there, terrified by your threats, we brushed off the dust of the corpse. We cleansed the rotting flesh. And we sat on a mound away from the smell. We kept each other awake, poking, threatening. Everyone had to be on the lookout. We did this for a while. Then, we saw the girl. She screamed, sharp and shrill, like a bird that had lost its young. She began to groan when she saw the naked body, began to curse the ones who had done this awful thing. She took dry dust in her hands, raised a pitcher of bronze, and poured libations on the corpse, 3 comforts for the dead. We saw this, and we charged down the hill. We got her, and she was completely calm. We said to her, you did this. It was you the first time. She did not say no. I was so happy. But it hurt. It hurt. I'm happy to be not guilty, but it hurts to hurt friends. However, forget these second thoughts. I'm just glad to be safe.
You there with your head held high. Do you admit this, or do you deny it?
I did it. Nothing more.
No, you were free. You knew this was against the law, yes or no?
I knew. Of course I knew. Everyone knew.
And yet you still did. You broke the law.
It was not God's law. Zeus made no such law. laws of God, unwritten and beyond truth. They live not in the now or in the yesterday. They live in eternity. They come to us time out of mind. I am not afraid of any man. Man's power means nothing to me. I am afraid of the anger of the gods, and therefore I have kept their laws. I knew, of course, that I would die. But your thoughts mean nothing to me. If I die before my time, I think I win. For if you live in grief, such as mine, what is death but a victory? So there's no grief in death for me. But if I left my mother's son to rot unburied, I would feel grief. But now I grieve not at all. You may think me a fool, but folly may be in the eye of the beholder.
The girl speaks bitter words. She is her father's child. She fights fate, so did he.
People who are proud crack first, and this woman is proud. Arrogant. She broke the law, our city's law. That she did it, that was the first thing, and now she boasts of it. She laughs. She laughs in my man's face. She plays the man, and I'm nothing if she wins. She is my sister's child, but if she were my own daughter, she would die. She and her sister, for I accuse Ismene too. She shared in this burial. Call her out. I saw her in the house. She's no longer mistress of herself. Sometimes secret plans become revealed before the plotters work their evil. I loathe too when the workers of evil try to make what they do a thing of grace.
Do you want more than my arrest and my death?
Nothing.
Then what are you waiting for? Nothing you say do I agree with. I pray I never will, and I know nothing I say will touch your heart. But to bury my brother, what could feed my glory more? And these men here, they praise what I did, but fear makes them slaves. You are free, a king, and you can speak at will.
That is not what they think.
That is what they think, but in fear they seal their lips.
You are not ashamed to be the only one who thinks this way?
I am not ashamed. When was it a shame to honor your brother?
But was it not your brother who killed him?
Yes, my brother. Yes, my mother's son.
But to bury him is a crime, not an act of grace.
His dead brother would not say so.
And you make no distinction.
No, I do not, for it was a freed man who died.
Making war on his own country. Tirieas died in defense of it.
Death is a fair judge. All men are equal.
The good and the bad are not necessarily equal.
But who knows if this is an eternal truth?
When a man dies, he does not necessarily become your friend.
Oh, I was born to share in love, not hate.
Well, then go down and love the dead below. You are a woman. I'm a man. That says it all.
Look, Ismene is coming out. She weeps, for she loves her sister. Her cheeks are torn with nails of grief.
You there, poisonous viper. You hid in the dark of my house? You sucked my lifeblood dry, the pair of you, plotting to overthrow the throne, but I was blind. Admit it. You did this together, or will you swear that you knew nothing?
I did it. If she will allow it, I am her partner. I share the blame.
Justice will say no. You had no desire to be my partner, nor did I allow it.
The journey with you into pain is what I long for.
Death and the dead know who did this. I cannot love someone whose love is mere words.
Sister, don't deprive me of honor. Honor for me is to die with you, bringing glory to the dead.
You cannot die with me. You chose to live. My death is enough.
When you are gone, what love can there be left?
Ask Creon. He is your kinsman and the one you care for.
Why do you hurt me? A death you no good.
I hurt too, even when I laugh at you.
What more can I do for you?
Save yourself. I will not begrudge your life.
I am in torment. I cannot share your fate.
No, you chose life. I chose death.
When I talked to you, I warned you.
In some people's eyes, you were right. In others, wrong.
But we both have lost.
Be strong. You will live. My birth died long ago. I join the dead. I will help them.
Of these sisters, one proved a fool just now. The other was a fool from birth.
Yes, my lord. When people are in pain, common sense leaves them behind.
You lost your common sense when you chose to do evil with this evil girl.
What life is there for me to live without her?
Don't speak of her. She is no more.
Oh, you killed the future wife of your son.
Oh, he can plow their fields.
But they were bound together like no other.
I hate the thought of my son marrying an evil woman.
Haemon, your father robs you of your rights.
You and your You and your marriage utterly repel me.
You will deprive your son of his bride.
Death will destroy the marriage.
It is determined then that this girl must die.
So must you, so must I. Move, guard, take them inside. They must be watched. They may be women with no means of escape, but even brave men will run away when they see death approaching.
Happy is the man whose life has never tasted pain. For when a house is shaken by the gods, no generation escapes. Time out of mind, I have seen the sorrows of this house, seen them loom and come crashing down upon the children, grief upon grief. No generation can escape. A god always strikes. And now the last light is dimmed. The last root of the tree of Oedipus is cut by the bloody knife. The god of death wills it. Madness and fury have made it so. My lord, your only son, Haemon, does he come in grief for Antigone? In anger for the loss of his bride?
We have no need of prophets. We shall know soon enough. My son, you heard my judgment, my last word. Do you come in fury or in deference to the father that you love?
Father, I am your son. You have always set me on a straight path. Your wisdom will always be my guide. I will not sacrifice that for any marriage.
My son. Your heart tells the truth. Never put anything above your father's will. Our father prays that he will breed sons who live with him in duty and obedience, hating his enemies, honoring his friends. Oh, but when a son proves good for nothing, what is a man bred but trouble for himself? Laughter for his enemies. Oh, my son, do not let desire for a woman rule your mind. This thing in your arms would soon grow cold when you knew you had a wicked woman for a wife. A wicked lover in your bed, what knife could cut his teeth? No, spit her out! Devil that she is, let her be a bride in hell. You know, she was the only one in the city to disobey me. She was caught. In the act, I will not be called a liar. She must die. She can sing her prayer to Zeus, the god of kinship. If I allow disobedience in my own family, I have to allow it anywhere. I mean, if a man is honest and fair in his home, he will gain the public's confidence. I would trust such a man to rule his people well, even to be ruled well. Whoever the state is put in power must be obeyed in all things. Important, unimportant, just, unjust. Anarchy! There's nothing worse. If men lead decent lives, it is because the rule of law is their protector. We must protect those who live within the law. I will not be beaten by a woman. If we must lose, let it be to a man. Is a woman to be seen as stronger than we? No.
Unless old age has dimmed our wits, we believe that you have spoken sensibly and well.
My father, the gods have given men the power to think. It is the best thing that we have. I could not find the words to turn your words around. I have no such skill. But someone else might argue differently. And well, you cannot know everything that people say or do, or how they criticize you. You frighten them. They are afraid to say things that would annoy you. But in the darkness, I have heard them say that the city grieves for Antigone, grieves for her unjust punishment, unjust to die in shame for what was an act of glory and of justice. She would not leave her dead brother to lie unburied in the dust for birds and hungry dogs to make an end of him. She deserves a crown of golden glory. Beneath the city, that is what you will hear. My father, your success is my success. There is no greater pleasure for a son than to see his father prosper and achieve undying respect. And a father wishes the same for his son. I beg you, let your stubbornness die. You alone do not own truth. The man who thinks that truth is his alone, who thinks His eloquence and wisdom surpasses all. When his world turns, finds mere emptiness. A man intelligent though he be should never be ashamed of learning more. His mind must be supple. I am young, I know, but let me say that it would be best if men were created with perfect wisdom. But since this is not so, to learn from others when they speak good sense is no disgrace.
If your son has spoken to the point, you should learn from him, and he from you. Both sides have spoken well.
Oh, at my age, am I to learn from him? Am I to be schooled by a boy?
And nothing that is unjust. True, I am young, but don't look at my age, look at what I do.
Even if what you do is respect anarchy,
I have no respect for those who break the law.
is not Antigone so charged?
Your fellow citizens believe her innocence.
Is the city to tell me how to govern?
Now who is talking like a boy?
I, and I alone, give the orders in this city.
Ah, it is no city if it belongs to one man.
The law is that the city is the property of its ruler.
Oh, all alone you would be a fine king of a deserted city.
He has taken this woman's side.
It is only for you I care for.
You unspeakable thing, contradicting your father.
I must when you act without justice.
Is it unjust to respect the duties of my office?
There is no respect. You are trampling on divine
Your
law.
mind is poisoned. You have given in to a woman.
I will never give in to what is not right.
Your whole argument is to protect her.
And you, and me, and the gods underneath the earth.
You will not marry her while she's alive.
Then she must die. But her death will bring another death.
Oh. Well, now your arrogance is in full flood. You threaten me?
It is no threat to try and stop this senseless plan.
It is you who lost your senses, and you will regret this argument.
If you were my father, I would say you were mad.
Don't call me father. You belong to that woman.
You always want to speak, never to listen.
Is that so? By God, you will not abuse me like this and get away with it. Bring the woman out! Bring her here! She shall die right before his eyes. Die in the bridegroom's arms.
No! Never, she will not die in my arms, and you will never set eyes on this face again. Share your madness with others. Not with me. Not with me!
My lord, he is gone. His anger runs deep. Such a state of mind in the young is dangerous.
Let him go. Let him think. Let him do whatever his arrogance feeds him. In any case, the girls must die.
Both of them, my lord?
No. You're right, I'm the one who didn't do it.
And what death have you chosen for Antigone?
She will be taken to where no man walks the desert ground. I'll seal her in some hollow cave, still alive. She'll be given just enough food to clear the city of its guilt of death. Let her pray there. To the only God she honors, the God of death. Maybe he could save her, or maybe she will learn too late how futile it is to honor those already dead.
Love, invincible God. You take whatever we possess. You sleep in the soft bed of a young girl's cheeks. You can cross all oceans, move at ease through the wild. Not the immortal gods, not man who lives but a day, can escape your embrace. He who possesses you goes mad. Even the just man loses his mind. You twist him into injustice. You made this quarrel of a father and a son, provoking shared blood. Desire shines in the eyes of a beautiful bride, shines, conquers, and the ordered world dissolves. For Aphrodite smiles as she kills. world dissolves. I see Antigone going to that chamber where all men sleep. I cannot hold back my tears.
Citizens of this my homeland, you see me walking my last steps of life, seeing the last rays of the sun, then never again. In this life I have never heard the music of the marriage hymn, nor the laughter. Death, in whose arms all men sleep, leads me to the cold waters of Acheron to be his living bride.
But in honor and bright fame you walk into the darkness, untouched by wasting sickness, not slain by savage swords. Head high and alone among mortals, you walk in life down to the house of death.
I know the story of sad Niobe, know the deep pity of her death. She too was sheathed in stone, choked by the mountain's ivy grip. As she fades from life, she is washed by endless showers and soft snow. Her grieving eyes shed eternal tears that soak her cheeks of stone. I know her story. Some god has made it mine.
She was a god, and born of gods. We are mortal, and born to die. But in death, like her, you will find fame for your life and for your death. You have gone like a god to your fate.
Mock me not. Could you not wait till I am gone? Must you throw insults in my face? Oh, gods of my country! Oh, city of Thebes! I call upon Dirce's holy waters, upon this sacred land that protects its people. Look upon me now! Witness my silent, unmourned death. Remember the law that buries me in a grave of rock. I am alive! But soon I will sleep with the corpses, having a home neither with the living nor the dead.
You risked all, my child. You climbed to the summit of high justice, and you fell. Perhaps paying for your father's pain.
My father? Oh, you have touched the deepest sorrow of my heart. Generations have spilled grief upon grief. There is a doom that haunts my house. Mother and son, breeding life, breeding death, these were my parents. I, their child, I go now to be with them. I did not marry, I did not breed, that is my curse. My brother, your life, your death have killed me.
You honored the dead. We honor you. But power cannot be thwarted. You chose. You died.
No one weeps for me. No one sings a last wedding song. I have no friends. I walk to death. Last light kissing my eyes. Silence.
You sing your grief. You mourn your own death, but you cannot stop it coming. Now take her, open the tomb, and put her inside. There, all alone can she choose death or a buried life. We are free of guilt. Our hands are clean. It is time for her to leave this earth.
My tomb. Death's bedroom where I shall sleep forever. Soon I will be with my family. The pale corpses whom Persephone welcomed. I am the last and most accursed, for I have won death before my time. But I know I shall see again all those that I love, my father, and you, my mother, and my brother too. I have washed your bodies, dressed you for the grave, poured libations on your tombs. Oh, Polynices, you know the price I pay for covering your body, but in the eyes of the wise, I did what was right. If a child of mine had died or its father, I would not have broken the state's decree. What makes
Your words bring death even closer.
I've no reason to contradict you.
Thebes! My father's city! You gods of old, I am led away and there is no more time. Look on me, you men of Thebes! I am the last of this throne of kings. Remember my suffering and those who inflicted it, because I would not break the laws of God.
My child. Danae suffered like you, locked in a prison of bronze, both bedchamber and tomb, where the sun could not brush her face. She was a princess, too. In her, Zeus sowed his seed in a shower of gold. Fate moves on, relentless. Man cannot hide. No, not wealth, nor war, nor castle walls can escape its power. My child.
Men of Thebes, we two have come here together, two with the eyes of one, for this is how the blind walk.
Tirieas! What news do you bring me?
I will speak, but you must trust a seer's words.
I've always listened to your advice.
And so you govern our city well.
I thank you for your help.
But now you walk upon a razor's edge.
What do you mean? Your words make me shudder.
You will understand when you have heard the meaning of my art. I sat, as of old, in the secret haven where I listened to the sacred screams of birds. I heard bird cries I have never known. They screeched, mad and inarticulate. I could hear the murderers tearing of their talons, heard the dying of their wings. I was afraid. I lit a fire of sacrifice upon the altar. The flames perfused the flesh, and a slimy ooze dripped from the thighs, sputtered, smoked, and died. Gall spurted from the bladder and became vapor in the air. The fat dripped, but did not burn. The meaning of my art is clear. The ritual failed. This boy was my eyes as I am yours. The city is diseased because of your decision. Every altar in the town is glutted with the spewed out flesh of Polynices, regurgitated by dogs and birds. The son of Oedipus. The gods will accept no sacrifice from us, not prayer, nor flesh, nor flame. The birds cry in the air, but I do not understand their cries, for they are gorged with the oozing blood of the dead. Think about these things, my son. All men make mistakes, but a wise and determined man will change his course when he knows that he is wrong. He will cure the sickness. Pride breeds disaster. Weld to the dead. Why kick a corpse? Why kill the dead a second time? Listen to me. I speak only for your good. To learn from such a one as I, who knows what is right, is not a painful thing, especially if what he says will do you good.
Oh, Creon. All of you, like archers aiming at a target, have turned your bows on me. I know you and your so-called art. You treat me like a piece of merchandise to be bought and sold. Make your filthy money. Trade in gold from India or precious metals from Lydia, if that is your business. But you will never bury that corpse. Not if egos were to tear his flesh and leave it up as an offering to the throne of Zeus. I will not give him up. I'm not afraid of pollution. No mortal can pollute the gods. Tirieas. Oh, it's a shameful thing when the wise sell their knowledge, tell lies to make a profit.
Is there no man who can understand or tell?
Tell what? What trite pearls of wisdom do you have for us?
No man who knows that wisdom is better far than gold.
And that to be a fool is the most dangerous thing.
You are the fool. That is your sickness.
I do not wish to contradict a prophet.
It is too late. You said I lied.
Prophets, all you think of is money.
Tyrants, all you think of is power.
Take care, you are talking to a king.
I know. Who helped you to the throne?
You may be a wise prophet, but you are corrupt.
Stop! You will make me say things that should remain unspoken.
Speak! But there should be no profit in this for you.
There will be no profit in this for you.
I will not change! No matter how much money changes hands.
Take what I say to heart. Before the passing of the sun into its depths, you will give corpse for corpse, flesh of your flesh. You have lost the meaning of the life above and the death below. You send a living breath into a lifeless tomb. You keep on earth a body which belongs below, denying it the grave. The gods above cannot claim him now, nor you. He belongs to the gods beneath the earth. And so the Furies will track you down. Lurking in the dark, they will pounce upon their prey. Wish to talk of money now? Soon within your house you will hear the wailing screams of mourning. You left upon the field of war bodies to rot, for birds and dogs to bury with their jaws. The fathers of these sons will rise against you now. The stench of your sin will settle on the earth. Yes, I am an archer. The arrow of my tongue shoots straight into the heart. Boy, take me home now. Let him spill his rage on younger men. Let him still his angry tongue and learn truth.
My lord, these are words of terror. Tirieas has gone, but their truth remains. I am old, but never yet have they proven false.
I know this too. It troubles me. To give in is hard, but if my pride breeds stubbornness, then destruction is at hand.
Listen to me. Hear what I have to say.
I'm ready, I will listen.
Go! Now, release Antigone. Tear the rocks from her tomb. Bury the waiting dead.
That is what you think.
There is no time. God's move is quick as light. Destruction falls heavy upon the fools of this earth.
Hard to deny what I believe in, but I will do it. I cannot fight with destiny.
You must do this yourself. You cannot leave it to others.
I'm going immediately. Bring pickaxes to lay bare the rock. We must reach the cave that lowers upon our house. I imprisoned her. Shall I set her free? The laws of the gods are old, mighty, and a man must serve them till his death.
Dionysus, city of our God, of many names, God of our city, oh help us now. Semele's golden child, born of thunder, spinner of mysteries, death. Bacchus, you wash your body in our sacred waters. Women wild with your will within them, whirl in the night of the seed of dragons, God of many names. You are our God, our Lord of Thebes. This is your city, Thebes, where your mother birthed and died. We are sick, diseased. Heal us now. Heal us now. Come to us across the grieving sea. Son of Zeus, bring the whirlwind of your ecstasy and help us now.
Men of Thebes, ancient city of Cadmus, I can no longer say of any human life that it is good or it is bad. Fate can bless a man, and fate can ruin the unhappy and happy man in a single day. No man can know what the future will bring. Creon was envied once. His life was good. He saved this city from its enemies and became its king. He ruled it well, and he had noble sons. Now everything has gone. When a man has lost all happiness, you cannot say he is alive. He is a corpse that breathes. Live your rich life in your palace. Sport the trappings of a king. But once your happiness is gone, you are nothing but smoke's shadow in the sun.
You talk of kings. What grief do you bring to us?
They are dead. The living are guilty of their death.
Who died? Who was the killer? Speak.
Haemon is dead. Killed by his own hand.
His own or his father's?
He killed himself. Driven mad by the murder his father had committed.
Tirieas, you saw and told the truth.
This is my news. You must think of what to do.
Here is Eurydice, Creon's poor wife. She may have come outside by chance, or she may have heard something about her son.
I heard your words as I was coming out to pray at Athena's shrine. As I moved to the bolts which locked the door, I heard of my own pain. I fainted and fell back into my women's arms, but speak again. I have no grief before.
Dear lady, I was there, and I will tell you everything that happened. I will not try to ease your pain by telling lies. This is the truth. I followed your ruler husband to the edge of the plain where Polynices' corpse was lying still. It had been torn apart by wild dogs. Dear God, we prayed to Hecate and Hades to speed him on his way, to turn their anger to mercy. We bathed what was left of him with holy water and burned the flesh on fresh-cut branches. Then we covered him with a mound of the earth of the land where he was born, and turned towards the chamber of rock where Antigone lay, the bride of death. From afar, one of us heard a voice grieving within that accursed place. He ran back to tell Creon. The king approached. All he could hear were deep groans. The words were intelligible. He cried out, "Am I a prophet now? Am I walking along the saddest path of my wretched life? I hear my son weeping. Hurry! Go to the tomb. Look inside. Tear the rocks aside. Look through the crevice and tell me if that is Haemon's voice I hear or if the gods are deceiving me." We did what we were told. And in the far corner of the tomb we saw her. She was hanging by the neck in a noose made of her own linen veil. Haemon had his arms around her. He mourned aloud the death of his bride, her departure from this life, and cursed his father. When Creon saw him, he moaned aloud, moved towards him, and called out, "What have you done, my son? Speak to me. What is in your mind? Your suffering is killing you. Come out to me. I beg you, come to me." Haemon looked at him, his eyes on fire. He spat in his father's face and then said not a word. Suddenly, he drew his sword and lunged at his father. Creon leapt aside. In a fury, Haemon turned the sword upon himself and fell upon it hard. The blade entered his side. Half its length pierced his flesh. Still conscious, he crawled towards the girl and gently put his arms around her. Blood spurted from his mouth and stained her white cheek. Corpse lay upon corpse. This was their bridal bed. The hymns of their marriage are now sung in the halls of death. Creon did not listen to good sense, and in his death, Haemon's lesson is a lesson for all mankind.
The queen left without a word. What do you make of this?
I do not know what to think. We can only hope she needs to grieve in private with her women, away from the general public.
Perhaps. But her silence weighs upon me more than any cry of grief.
You may be right. I fear too the silence. I will go inside, and if in this sea, in this wilderness of her heart, she means to harm herself.
Here is the king. Look, he bears his grief in his arms, brings home his own damnation.
Oh, sins of my wicked heart, the murdering crimes of my heart. You see before you the killer and the son he killed. Oh, what price to pay for my love of the city, my son. You died too young.
Too young, I was the fool, not you. You died in innocence.
You have learned truth. Too late. Too late.
I learned it in my tears. Some god struck me down, crushed me with the weight of heaven's curse, pressed his heavy foot upon my happiness. Oh, the sorrow. Oh, the pity.
You hold one sorrow in your heart, but there is more. And you will find it in the palace.
What further suffering can there be?
The queen is dead. The mother of this poor child, her wound bleeds still.
Hades, where all men must travel, you have destroyed me now. I weep in the horror of your words. I was dead, and you have killed me again. Oh, my son. Oh, the queen, dead. Death upon death.
Now you can see. All is in the light.
Yes, I look upon the second anguish of this day. What further pain can strike me now? Just now as I held my son in my arms. Now I look at the body of my wife. Oh, pity the mother, pity the son.
By the altar she fell upon the sword, and her eyes embraced the darkness. She moaned for Megaria, her firstborn, and for Haemon. And as she died, she cursed you, the killer of her children.
Fear courses through my veins. Will no one turn their sword on me? Pity this pitiful man by killing him?
She held you guilty for the death of both her sons.
Oh, you tell me more of her death.
When she heard of Haemon's death, she thrust the sword through her heart.
The guilt is mine. It's all mine. I killed you. Shouted loud, take me in. Take me from the sight of men. I am nothing now.
This is good, if anything can be so called. It is best to make a quick end of our sorrows.
Let me go, oh, let me go. May my death be soon. Let me never see another day, another dawn.
That is in the future. We must deal with the present. What will be is out of our hands.
All my heart was in that prayer.
Pray no more. No man can escape what fate has in store for him.
Lead me away. The man who in his madness killed you, my son, and you, my wife. I did not mean to do it. Where can I turn? Where can I lay my head to rest? Whatever my life has touched has turned to dust. A cruel fate has struck me down.
Wisdom it is that breeds happiness. The gods take what is theirs. The words of a proud man are always punished. Wisdom comes to the old.
Anyway, hi. Cool. Great. Antigone has to leave us very quickly. That's Kara. We'll just stay a few minutes. Bye, Kara.
Thank you all. Thanks for being here.
Bye. Anyway, so I'm gonna have the actors introduce themselves and say what parts they play.
Hi, Lou Liberatore. I played the chorus.
Hi, I'm Brittany Nicole Williams. I played Ismene, Eurydice, and Tirieas.
I'm Josh Adams. I played Watchman, Haemon, Boy, and Messenger.
Hi, Watkins, I play Creon.
And I'm Chorus Scott. I'm the director. So applause again for the actors. Couple of questions for me, from me for you. Were you able to follow the story? Yeah? You knew what was going on? You knew that her brother needed to be buried and she was breaking the law?
Yeah.
And you knew why the law was there?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's the basic thing. Yeah, so you know what happened, and you know who died, right? Okay, good. Those are the things I want to make sure. Okay, did you enjoy it? I mean, did you find this invigorating and interesting?
Were you not entertained?
Yes. Were you engaged?
Yes.
Okay, good. It's always good to say enjoy, because it's hard to just by enjoying people dying. But did you enjoy the experience is what I want to know. So I'm glad you were able to follow along, so thank you for being here. So do you have any questions for the actors? You want to say something? Yeah. And then.
What made you guys agree to do this? Like, what was the motivation for laughing?
That's his excitement, because he wants to answer the question. Dana.
What made us agree to do this?
Yes, like, what you thought when you got the script and you said, yes, I want to do this.
Well, I mean, I started studying the Greeks when I started training as an actor, just because that's where you start. But that's for this script. I've done a number of these for Baruch, and I always find it fascinating. Not only to work on this play, to get a taste of what it is to work on this play, but also to do stuff for you guys. I just really enjoy it.
Yeah, I would say the same, because Dana and I have done a few of these, and very much the same, because I love the interaction with y'all, because you're studying the script, and you know, some of you are theater people, some of you are classics people, so it's just great to get feedback as to how it's working, if you're getting it, if you're engaged, and also working with Mr. Scott here is also a joy. He's a wonderful director, and he treats actors really, really well, and that's a rarity sometimes in our business. I've been lucky, I've been blessed that I've had some good directors, but if Mr. Scott here wants me to do something, I would say yes. You know, but the chorus is also a great role. I love being sort of like one who informs, the one who is conscious a little bit, and can play within that. There's many little roles that he plays as the chorus, friend of the government, townspeople who feel for Antigone, his conscience. You know, so it's a nice role to sort of bite into and play with.
Good. Josh, what about you?
Well, I read Antigone when I was in college, not in a theater class, in a political science class, and I really liked the story, but didn't really like the translation. And this translation actually really excited me a lot. The way, just the word choices, and how it's edited. Editing a text is not a very easy thing to do, so well done on that. The other reason too, like, I did a play with Lou, like, back in 2014, back when I was living in DC, and so it was mainly also an opportunity to be able to, like, work with him again, and I had met Christopher, so to get to work with him, and also just meet more people, and it's just, I like when doing projects that are about process, and not necessarily about getting to, I mean, it's always fun to have a show that's like open and there's reviews and all that stuff, but sometimes it's nice just to explore a text which is about the text and sharing the text with people from different, whether people are here for theater class or classical text, and it's not about a product, it's about an experience, and I like working in that environment.
Good. Brittany, what about you?
I'm gonna kind of copy people. I was excited to work with Mr. Scott. I was excited to perform and share theater with you all and some students who aren't able to see theater that much, you know? And also, like, in my career so far, I've mostly done musical theater, and so I was really excited to kind of like step away from that for a second, and I knew this would stretch me as an actress, as, you know, a student of this art. And especially doing 3 different characters, I was like, oh yes, bring on the challenge, you know? So I was really excited to do this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was blessed to get these people. They're so full of life and full of creativity that it makes my job easy because basically what I like to do is I like to say, okay, here are your toys, and then, go and explore, and like, why don't you try that, and like, give you little ideas and seeing how, how that goes forward. That sort of give you an idea about?
Yeah, of course. I'll surprise you. I'm from Greece. I came a couple of years ago, and I've seen Antigone in different versions. So this is the first time I'm actually seeing it in English, in English translation, etc. And I have to say, I was very impacted by each and every one of them. Like, the actor that played the Antigone is not here with us right now, and to say, because I wanted to say, like, wow, just wow, but like.
I'll let her know, I'll tell her. Yeah.
Each and every one of you made such an impact, and like, I understand how you feel when you said that you were doing musical theater, because I went to see a couple of them, like Phantom of the Opera, and it's really, really difficult. So I'm happy that you took a break. And you liked it. So I was really excited, and I was really happy to see you guys perform and get the first idea. Like, this is so fresh to me. So I'm glad that you guys were my first.
Oh, yeah, we're glad that you're here, yes. Was there another question over here? Yes.
I have a question for Brittany. I noticed throughout the whole play, your characters are always in Greek. So how did you?
Wait, they were true.
Always in Greece.
Oh, I didn't know it's true.
So what was the, sorry, what was
Like,
that?
how was that like for you? Was it like difficult to stay sad the whole time?
I don't really think, yes, they're all in Greek, but they're all different people too, and they're all having different experiences. I mean, they're different human beings and different circumstances. They have different relationships with all of the other characters on stage. So it's not the exact same, I'm not in the same exact emotional space for each character. So it is a little bit different, but yeah, it can be very emotionally tiring, for sure. I'm sure that's the case for everybody up here, but yeah.
I imagine, and you can tell me if in some ways having to go through this on stage, it's actually cleansing.
Yeah.
You kind of get out a lot of the crap that you deal with in life. If you're able to go through that, you're able to express these things you don't get to express during the day.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity to give that voice.
And also, so part of our training is to be open and get in touch with different feelings and emotions, obviously, so we can then portray them for you on stage, honestly, realistically. Like Mr. Scott said, theater is being honest, living honestly, doing honestly in an imaginary circumstance. So we train to understand and access our emotions, but we also train not for this to become a therapy session, in the sense that, oh my God, I'll cry for hours. Oh my God, And so we have also learned to access it when needed and tone it down or turn it off when needed. So that's part of the technique of learning this craft.
Right, and also being healthy about it.
Being healthy about it.
Because you don't want to utilize something that is very fresh with you. You want to make sure you have distance from that experience. And you properly briefed it, you put it in its place, and yet there's opportunity for you to take a voice. That makes sense. That sort of makes sense. Does that answer your question in some way, shape, or form?
Yes.
Okay, good. What else? Any other questions you might have? Yes, Jen.
So I know you guys played different characters. So how was the experience of exploring different characters in the same space in a play?
Okay. Josh, you want to start?
Sure. It's a lot of fun. It's a very interesting challenge because there's a different level of kind of programming that you have to do in your head, it's kind of fun. You like throw a bunch of paint on the wall and you see kind of what sticks, and then you know, we didn't have a ton of time to rehearse, but each day like different things kind of took new form, and it was exciting to see where I might try one thing for one character and I'm like, actually no, this fits with the other one, trying to get a little bit of the framework or like the blueprint of what it is, and then as we keep doing it, you continue to kind of fill in that tissue and like things kind of become clearer. But it's a lot of fun to be like, okay, how does one character move? Or and like the fact that we had different clothing, like when you're wearing something, it affects how you move. And so much of our training is about being in tune with like our instrument, of our body, our voice, and things like that. So like, you know, wearing that Elmer Fudd hat, like that awakens something. Like if I didn't have that hat, I don't know how the character would have been a little different. Like, so playing around with how different things kind of affect how you move and how that helps the story, and kind of finding where each character fits in the story. Because like all the characters I play are assisting the story, usually providing information and moving things along. It's not necessarily about them. So how am I assisting kind of the arc of Antigone's story and Creon's journey, which are like kind of, I would say, the two of the more pivotal characters of this. So how can I assist that, and where is each of my character, like, does it help show someone's humanity? Does it help show another side of them? Like what am I serving in the text in that moment?
Similar. It was really fun to try different physicalities for each character. The costumes definitely, the props help to find that physicality as well. And I think it also just like helped with my process in general and with my understanding of the script, because I have to understand 3 different characters and where they fit in this plot and in this entire arc. And so I think it just helped me have a better understanding overall as well.
Cool. Good. Did I answer your question, Tim? Good. What else? Any other burning? Yes, back there.
So, I know, like, you would assume that having the script in hand would help, like, with, like, memorization and stuff, but were there any challenges that came about because you maybe didn't have the time to just go scriptless, you know? That's the question. Any challenges?
So what were basically the challenges of having the script?
Yeah.
And wanting to get rid of it, and then not being able to get rid of it?
Or maybe, like, performing with the script in hand instead of just...
Okay, so basically what were the challenges? Danny, you want to start?
I mean, it's especially where we are right now in the process of you're starting to know your lines, and then you think you know them, and then you get lost, and then you have to find your place on the page, and then that takes you out emotionally of the trajectory you were in. That's very frustrating. And you have an impulse and you want to do it, but then you can't find your line. And so that also in the physicality, you can't do as many things because you got to stop the script, and you can't. You're not as free in certain respects, but in other respects you're completely free because you got the script there, so you don't have to worry. So it's both. It holds you back, but it also supports you.
It assists you in a sense that you don't have to rely on something physical. Let's just say, you have that script in hand, you can just play the feeling, the emotion with your body and your voice, and your intention. Ultimately, your intention is what you really want to get across to the audience. And it can hinder you, like David said. We're getting to know the script better and better and better, and then we lose our place. Because I think I know this line, and then I kind of turn it, I move it here and there. Or I kick this stand, and I'm like, where's the script? But that's part of live theater. That's what makes live theater so interesting, and I think so exciting. And it's exciting to us because we're a little bit on the edge. We're a little bit kind of walking along the edge of the mountain here, because we do have the script, but we also know what we want to get across. And so there's like it's a push-pull situation. So in readings, my motto is always make a big choice and make it loud. Just kind of get it out there, because it's just a reading. You want to get it off its feet. You want to get it to people's ears and minds of the story. And so this kind of helps you, supports you when you don't know the whole script. It also gets in your way when you lose your place. Yeah.
Brittany, Josh, you have anything to add to that?
Same. I definitely feel like it helps because I don't really have to worry about what my line is, but also I feel like I would definitely be freer physically if I was off book, you know, instead of having to add in the physicality of having this in my hand and turning the page over and making sure that I'm with what we're doing. Yeah.
Any thoughts, Josh?
I don't really have anything to add.
Although the frustrating thing is once you do get rid of the script, once you finally, when you're in rehearsal and you've been working with the script, you get rid of the script and you're like, wait, what do I do with my hands? I can't keep up here all the time. I gotta do something.
Right, and for a while, that was like something between, you're a little more exposed at that point. Because I kind of have this and this is in front of me and this is keeping me from, but then, when that's gone, but we want that kind of openness and that aliveness and that working without a net, so to speak. Who's a net? Who's a net? Well, a net wasn't this show.
I've worked with it. Better to work with that.
Anything else before I let, yes?
Okay, so, this question was mostly for, Antigone and Creon, but all of you, of course, can answer it. So, how did you feel when you get the script and the director is telling you that, oh, this is your character, and you see that your character, for example, in Creon's position, is kind of like a madman, like he's a kid who wants to kill Antigone because she's a woman and he doesn't want to obey to her or like show any respect to her, and then you're like, oh my gosh, that guy is crazy. And so like, how did you guys deal with those kinds of roles when your opinion is going against
Oh,
what you're doing?
But no one thinks they're crazy.
right.
Well, okay.
He doesn't think he's crazy. He thinks he's doing the right thing.
Right.
He's just become king. He's figuring this is going to unite the people. This is my decision. And then people challenge that, and he has to maintain control. And so every choice is based on in his mind a rational decision. And so that's how you play it. As an actor, you should never judge your character.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't play a bad guy. You may see him as a bad guy, and that's the success of portraying it, because you say, oh my God, he's so bad. But the actor doesn't think, the character doesn't think he's bad. He thinks he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, it's
What
doing the best thing.
supports him, what encourages him, what he believes in. You may see it as bad. So
Right.
that's how that works. You can't judge any of the characters that you're playing.
I mean, some of the emotion behind it, the anger, is that he's being betrayed by his own family.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying, that's how do you feel about it when, for example, like I said, you have, for me, a madman, when he's not really a madman, like he's trying to do what he's supposed to do, trying to explain with emotions and trying to get the message to people that, you know what, this guy, he might look like a madman, but he's not really a madman, he's just someone who's trying to do his job and his purpose as a king.
Well, I do what I do, and other people decide what they want out of the character that I put out there.
Yeah.
Or that's actually his job, is to help craft everything around the performances and help. It's like, yes, that all makes sense, but now everyone's gonna hate you, or they're gonna like you too much, or whatever, and we're trying to put this in. That, as an actor, you're just going on, these are the choices that I'm making based on who I think this person is, and
Your director helps shape you. You're too much, too little. You're going down the right path. Good pat on the back. You make your impulses. You trust your instincts. You make your impulses, and then the director is looking at the whole picture. You're just worrying about you. You're just putting in this puzzle piece, but he has 5 puzzle pieces to fit around you. So if this is too much and this is too little, he's got to bring it and calibrate it. That's what he does. So
you trust his opinion?
100%. If you don't trust your director, it's ultimately going to be a bad pairing.
I think part of it too is understanding that when approaching a role, we're approaching the role to play a character, to serve a play. The reason we tell a play is to tell a story for an audience. keeping in mind that whatever we're discovering and doing isn't really about ourselves, it's about something to be shared. So there'll be times where, you know, I've been asked to play terrible people, and I, Josh, can like judge them in the sense, but that when I'm exploring and trying to play it, it's trying to find their truth and knowing that if someone watches my work, whether I've had to play white supremacist before and things like that, and that's not something that I believe, but I know as an actor and as a white person that like to tell stories that need to be told, sometimes I have to play kind of the ugliness of a person. And I think some actors get lost in themselves. They'll be like, oh, I don't want them to think about this character this way because that's not who I am. And then they spend their whole time on stage playing this person, but trying to tell the audience that they're not actually that person. And it's like, well, you're doing this whole thing for yourself, and you're robbing the audience from hearing a story. The whole reason that we do this is to tell a story to hopefully inspire something. What it inspires, like, we don't have control over that. We can't do anything, we can't tell you how to feel, but hopefully you see something and you feel something of it. So I think a lot of it too is remembering that we're serving something a little bit bigger than us, and if we can keep our ego out of it and just kind of explore and try and find the truth of something. And also you'll learn. It's fun to explore roles and characters that at first, this is separate from the white supremacist thing, just to be clear. To explore a role that like isn't like yourself and learn more about either yourself or somebody else or the human experience. Like we're all just trying to understand what the fuck we're doing in life. And a lot of the times the best way to do that is trying to see something from a different perspective. It might not be the right perspective, but theater creates a safe place to kind of explore and ask those questions. And that's one of the reasons I think a lot of us really like that, because we're drawn to the curiosity.
Lose anything?
That was amazing.
Well said, well said.
Yes.
If you ask actors, one thing I wrote, if you ask any actors what kind of characters they like to play, they will they will tell you the bad ones are the ones that, like, I will recently there was a movie that Denzel Washington called The Scottish Play, which we cannot say in here, but especially his wife, Lady M, women love to play it. Women love to play Medea. I mean, men can play those roles too now. And also Iago, if you know Othello, and Richard III. Actors love to exercise that. And I think the thing is to find out where their pain is and what motivates them behaving that way. That's always kind of the challenge, is to make them human. And I think we all like to take on that challenge, because I'm always convinced that most things like that come from hurt or pain. Someone has deeply hurt somebody at some point, and how this individual reacts to it manifests themselves in, and can be destructive behavior. But all those people think they're doing the best they should right now. They all have goals, and they think the world is going to be better if I do this. Anyway, you guys, thank you. Those were great questions. We appreciate it all. I want to thank my wonderful cast. Please brief us of them. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate it.
Play all the parts.
Yeah, good idea, good idea.
We made it.
I know, it's so hard.
I do.
Hold on, before
Right,
you go.
let me just take a
Quick change.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm teaching the performers.
You can hear my
I don't teach anything in the film department. I teach advanced acting here. I teach introduction to acting. Those are all for the theater department. And like I said, I teach the Arts of New York, which is the next version of New York. You said you have the arts, which you go to places, which you have the projects. It's like that.
Is there some sort of like something that you remember? Because like right now it's possible that you should.
Oh yeah, here I'll give it to you.
How about a sound designer here who's gonna test the
Oh,
circuit?
yeah, yeah.
Is it okay if we start?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Guys, you're all clear?
X.
Go ahead and start making noise. You're welcome.
Hey, this spotlight is cool.
Yep.
Can you use that?
That spotlight is ancient and broken.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, great. Thanks so much.
All right, you got it. What's your name?
Diego.
Diego. It's good to meet you.
2 weeks ago.
Glad you pulled me aside.
Of course, hope we talk in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good day. Just bring that to class.
Oh, I thought you said this was
Exactly. Yeah, so bring it on Tuesday. We're gonna take whatever immediate test. Basically, like it'll be a question to see if people really came or not. And we'll hand it in. So we're gonna do that on Tuesday. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
Are you gonna turn into like an actual
Production? It'd be nice, not this one. I know. It's- Okay, good. I'm good, glad you came, and thank you for coming up and reminding me. I'll see you on Tuesday.